Hey, it's Aaron. Today I want to answer a question that I get a lot. So I get asked about electric vehicles, and mostly I get asked about why there aren't more of them on the road or why we can't find them, things along that nature. I get a lot of questions just often using the supposed non-availability of these electric vehicles as a reason for their not being all, proliferate all over the place, all filling the roads. So I kind of wanted to dispel that. So I made a list of all the electric vehicles that I know of. All of these are either in production or will be in production in 2021 for either this model year or the next. A lot of them have been around for a little while. So I'm just going to go through my list. I have, what do I got, 13 or 14 manufacturers on this list. I'm just going to go alphabetical by manufacturer and list all the vehicles that they have that are fully electric. So these are all battery electric options. These are not plug-in hybrids or anything like that. I'll give a couple comments on each one as we go. Some of them have been around a little while. Some of them are brand new. And just kind of, to give you a ballpark of what they are. So first up is the Audi E-Tron. There are actually two versions of this. There's the Audi E-Tron, which is sort of a quasi-SUV. And there's the Audi E-Tron Sportback, I think is what they call it. And that is a more kind of fastback sedan design. Interestingly, the E-Tron, the standard E-Tron, actually gets 1 mpge better in its rating than does the Sportback. I don't know why. It would seem like it should be lighter weight, but I don't know. It's just, I didn't do the testing. Next up is BMW with the i3. I drove this 2-3 years ago. Really liked the little car. It has some limitations. It doesn't have a hugely long electric range, for one thing. I drove the one with the extended range version, so it has the little engine in the back to act as a generator, and that actually made it worse. I think I would have just rather have driven the pure EV and had the pucker factor of range anxiety. But anyway, that's been around 3-4 years at least. It's a steady selling little car. Next up is a Chevrolet Bolt. I believe the Bolt is about 4 or 5 years old at this point. The current model just had an upgrade, I believe it was last year or so, to add a little more mileage and a few other things. I drove it in Oregon about 2 years ago, I want to say, 1.5 or 2 years ago, and really liked it. It's a great little car. It fits the market, so it's one of those electric cars that is not just electric for sake of being electric. It actually matches a market. So I could see people being more interested in buying it because of that. Next is I got a list, so I'm keeping track. Next is the Ford Mustang Mach-E. So this is a little controversial because a lot of people didn't like that Ford slapped the Mustang moniker on what is basically a compact SUV, but it is a performance-oriented electric vehicle. So the standard version that's available right now and came on the market about a year ago or so, maybe 2 years, it is basically a compact SUV that has a sport feel, so it's very sporty. There is a GT and GT Performance model coming, and those will be in line with the standard Mustang and its GT and, say, GT350 variants. That's just was announced, so that's coming very shortly. Next up is, let me go down to Hyundai. Hyundai has 2 different electric vehicles. Hyundai has the Kona and the Ioniq. So the Hyundai Kona is that right? Yeah, it is. The Kona is a very small, very compact crossover style vehicle. It is similar to the Kia Niro, which I'll get to in a minute. It's small, compact, and relatively cheap, so it's a good option for the market. It's been out maybe, I want to say 3 years at this point. The Ioniq has been around for quite a while. This is kind of, at the beginning, we thought this was going to be Hyundai's electric brand, right? That they were going to use Ioniq as that. But instead, they've just used it for a suite of small sedans that have various types of electrification, including a full EV. It is now in its second generation, so it's not brand new. So after Hyundai, we got Jaguar. Jaguar has the I-Pace. The I-Pace is a kind of quasi-sport activity vehicle, so it's not quite an SUV, but it's also not quite a car. It kind of fits in the middle, just like the BMW even-numbered X series and the Mercedes series of coupes. That's what they'll put on the end of an SUV name. So they're sort of like station wagons with an SUV height and build to them. So this has not been a terribly well received EV, but it has been out for quite a while, 3-4 years at least. And yeah, so there you go with that. It may or may not be pretty depending on how you look at it. Not always look at it the same way, right? Next is the aforementioned Kia Niro. Now I drove this about 2 years ago, took the family on a short road trip. We had the worst conditions possible. We had terrible terrible winter weather. We had crosswinds. We had a full car. We had 3 kids in the back, 2 adults in the front. We went up and down in altitude over 2,000 feet on each side. It was just a horrible setup for an EV, so it was a great illustration of what they may or may not be able to do. And it did a really good job. I was quite surprised. So it was one of those vehicles that I drove that turned me around on whether or not EVs could be in prime time now. And I think that for a lot of buyers, because of that car, I think for a lot of buyers they actually can be. There are a lot of caveats to that, but I'm not going to go into that. It's not the point of this. So next up, after that Kia, we got, where's number 8 on my list? There it is, Mini. So Mini has been hit and miss with the electric version. The electric Mini has come and then disappeared and then come back and then disappeared again. The first version had no back seat because they literally just built a big box where the back seats are supposed to be and shoved batteries into it. The BMW has gotten a little more, I don't know, suave with how they're designing. And this current version of the Mini, which reappeared, I believe, this year, is a little more realistic. So you're not sacrificing everything just to have an electric. So that just hit this year. I have yet to see one, but there you go. Next is the Nissan Leaf. This is a pretty venerable EV. The Nissan Leaf has been around for a very long time, and for a long time was the world's best-selling electric vehicle. It's sold pretty much in every market, and it is pretty much the same everywhere you go. So you're looking at a car that has been around for quite a while, has had its range increase from sub 100 miles per all up to, I think it's now at about 150. It is the low-cost electric option. It is still one of the cheapest electric cars you can buy. And it's a point A to point B car. It's very similar in size and shape and versatility to the Nissan Versa Note, so the Versa hatchback. So there you go with that. Number 10 on our list is Polestar. So Polestar is interesting because it is a sub-brand. It is the luxury brand, and their naming for their vehicles is quite obvious. So the electric Polestar is the Polestar 2, which was the second vehicle the company came out with. Lots of imagination happening in that company. It is a very high-end car. It is not cheap, and it is aimed for a very specific luxury market. That's all I know about it, really. Next is, let's see, we're at number 11, Porsche Taycan. So this is the Porsche kind of, the Panamera or the 911. It's that general size of vehicle. It is a sports car, as in a fully electric. It is very competitive with, trying to think of a vehicle it's competitive with, Model S in its like 85D configuration, things like that. So it is a very sport-centric and very expensive electric option, and it is, it's from Porsche. So it's really all you got to know. Going to number 12, we're looking at Tesla. Tesla, all they make are electrics, of course. Tesla has the Model S, the Model 3, the Model X, and the Model Y. Put those together and you got sexy, right? So all of these are available, have been for quite a while. Sales on them are up and down depending. The Model 3 is currently the best-selling mid-size sedan on the market. That sounds like a big deal, except it's not actually the best-selling. So the best-selling mid-size sedan is actually Toyota Camry. But the Model 3 is a very, very close second, and it is the best-selling luxury sedan in the market, even though Tesla does not market it as a luxury vehicle. That's a whole different ballgame. The point is, Tesla has 4 electric vehicles currently for sale, have been for sale for quite a while. Next is, where are we at? We're on number 13, the Volkswagen Id4. This just entered production, so we're just starting to see it now. There has been a press launch for it, so the production model will be hitting dealerships anytime now, and it is a, how would you describe this? It is a kind of crossover, but not really, mostly sedan. So that's how I'm going to do it. And I have yet to see one, I have yet to drive one, but all reports that I've seen so far are pretty positive. So there you go with that. Last on the list, coming in not last, only last because that's how our alphabet is Volvo. Volvo has the XC40 Recharge, just made this. So the XC40 has been around for a couple years. It's their compact, very small SUV. I really, really enjoyed it when I drove it in the gasoline model. Now there's an electric one called the Recharge, so it's the XC40 Recharge. I believe that Volvo is going to be using Recharge as their brand nomenclature for all of their plug-ins of any kind, so plug-in hybrid or fully electric. It could just be for the fully electrics, but we don't know yet. At any rate, this is brand new, coming this year. So that's what I got. That's my list. I've got 14 manufacturers making electric vehicles. I don't remember how many electric vehicles are total on this list, but I think it's 25-ish. You can go through and count and let me know if I'm wrong. But that's just right now. In the next couple of years, we are going to see even more. But as of right now, we have that number, 25 or so, EVs ready to go. You can go buy it today. Go. Do it. Let's see it. All right. So that's what I got. If you have a question, you want me to answer it, or you just want to tell me that I'm an idiot, or whatever else, I don't care. Hit me up. Comments are right down there. All right. Cool. This has been Aaron. Talk to you again soon.